All right, what's up, guys? Anthony here, Special Analysis. Welcome to the video. As I do on a daily basis, I'm going to provide you with a walkthrough of my personal trades. Now, just to give you kind of some insight to what I offer as far as to my clients goes, they get to see the reference chart, they get to see the liquidity in the market, they get to hear my analysis and interpretation of the NASDAQ, the S&P, crude oil, and gold in the futures market. You can apply it to full contracts or micro contracts for those of you just starting out or tippy-toeing into the futures world. Of course, I am a huge advocate for paper trading until you've proven yourself profitable over a period of time and dialed in a trade plan that works for you. So on our reference chart, obviously we have higher time frame analysis, we have pivots, we have MACDs, we have moving averages and VWAPs and all that fun stuff. And again, we call it the reference chart because ultimately we're just simply using that chart as a reference, right? We're not using that chart as our primary chart to trade on. And the reason for that is extraordinarily specific. The reason for that is because we want clarity in what we're seeing in the market, and it's very hard to gain clarity when you have too many indicators populated on your screen. You could see I have two VWAPs. The blue one is the session fixed VWAP. The yellow line here is the rolling VWAP, and if you look at the bottom left here, it is on the 4-hour basis. Okay, that's what I like. Okay, you can use whatever it is your heart desires. I'm not telling you my approach or my strategy is right for you or anybody for that matter, but it is what works for me. So being able to understand what the price is doing, how the volume's reacting, how the liquidity looks, interpreting all that along with the tape, along with the price action, along with the delta, along with the footprint, along with the order flow components, putting all that picture together gives me a good idea of what could potentially happen next. Does it guarantee me I'm going to be right? Of course not. Okay? Guys, unlike anybody else, I take losses. My goal is at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the half, at the end of the year, to be a profitable trader. Okay? A lot of days go by, I don't place a trade. Sometimes it's in and out extraordinarily quickly, capture a day's pay, and carry on. That is what it is, right? Some days we get really great trending market conditions. Higher time frames moving, current time frames moving, nice small candles, very shallow impulses and corrections, respecting the fast moving averages. But more often than that, that doesn't happen, right? Trending markets happen about 30% of the time, roughly. So what do we do the other 70% of the time? Well, that's where my 13 years of staring at charts comes into play, right? It provides my traders the opportunity to hear my thought process as I'm looking at these four markets, giving them insight to what I believe could transpire next based on the evidence which has been provided by the price action and the volume. So let me share with you kind of my thoughts this morning, all right? Didn't even need to really do too much drawing here. Was looking at crude oil here, came to the market fairly early. You could see we were placing some lower highs along the way here, but we did encounter some higher time frame support in and around this 81.35, 37 area, okay? So I thought that was pretty significant based on the bigger picture, okay? So from there, we take a push into the VWAP, settling slightly above the VWAP, and really putting in this reversal candle, okay? There was a lot of buyers that were trapped right here, and there was a fairly good chance, even though we settled above the VWAP, didn't necessarily mean we were going to stay there, and we were going to fall back into the rolling VWAP. And this here is where I was looking for evidence to believe that the market could then potentially go higher. So we have an impulse, we have a correction, we have a slow market at best, and then we take this really aggressive run higher. So with these trap buyers here inside the wick of this candle, I did take a short from here to here, okay? This is not a big trade, guys, right? But what am I risking, okay? Getting short here, I'm risking what? 10 ticks? If I'm wrong, I lose 10 ticks. If I'm right, 24 ticks, 20 ticks, I pick the number, 25, whatever. It went as low as 25 ticks, okay? So risking 10, potential for 24, okay? 2.4 is the R, right? 2.4 to 1 risk reward, right? So I was risking 10, I had a chance to capture 24. So, right, it was 2.5 times roughly risk reward. So if this went totally sour on me and price did push higher, I would lose 10 ticks. And if price fell back to the VWAP and set a higher low, then I had a pretty good chance of this kind of working out for me. So notice here we got a really strong reversal. Notice here we got a really strong consolidation. Big push up, big push down, big push up. Okay, so that tells me there's some support here at 81.32. We push up again, we try to push back lower, we hold. Okay, so we take this march in just slightly above the VWAP. Again, trap buyers right here in this wick. Boom, we fall back down. Great, wonderful, done, took that trade. Okay, 8 o'clock comes. I spend my time briefing my traders on all 4 markets: crude oil, gold, NASDAQ, S&P, okay? And I very specifically told them, I said, hey guys, I took this trade knowing that we were going to likely find support here at the rolling VWAP, and that if this holds, it should provide our next push higher. Well, next push higher to where? Well, 82 bucks is where we last failed at the rolling VWAP. And if we crushed 82 bucks, we were going to fall probably into this consolidative state above. Okay, we had higher time frame resistance at 82.20. We talked very specifically about that number. Right here, we had trap sellers. We had a really nice finished low. You could see we respected this area the 2 or 3 more times we came in. Market pushes up, violates this area, this high here. Again, trapped sellers right here in the wick of this candle. And notice right from here, boom, boom, boom. We rally really, really hard. Where do we rally really, really hard into? Well, this area right here is that consolidative area I was talking about. Notice that created a support area. And then we also talked very specifically if that we could get above this, push to 83, 83.40, which did not happen. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? Market takes a really strong push higher. We pull back. We have trapped sellers. We have a nice finished low. We push back, and we fail to break this high, okay? Notice this is the highest volume here printing. The highest volume printing right here on this very specific candle, okay? Yet, we close probably at about 60% roughly of the entire candle's rotation. So that's not super strong. And then we start to kind of break back down. And then the buyers step in again, and notice the volume here did not overtake the volume here, right? So we made a run at the prior high on significantly lower volume. I'll put, if you want to see the colored candles, I can do that for you too. But significantly lower volume in this candle that runs back up at it. That's weakness to me. What happens in the wick of this candle? Tons and tons of buyers get trapped, and the market sells back into this support area, right? I told you guys when we find consolidating price action, it's really important to mark it off because we need to know that we're going to likely react to this area. So here's a double top. Here's the low, right? We break the low, come back up to retest the low, and then we sell off from there. So what am I looking for here? Well, if I can find trapped buyers at what should be newly appointed resistance, which happened in this candle right here, that triggered the market to ultimately go lower. Okay? Break the rolling VWAP, break the fixed VWAP, come back and retest it here. You can see we get some trapped sellers. We push back up, and ultimately we push back down. Now, identifying trap buyers and sellers is wonderful in context of what the market is doing. Okay? You still must understand and interpret volume and price action before you integrate order flow. Okay? If you do not have a very, very vivid, fluent understanding of of how volume and price action interact with one another, adding order flow, liquidity, delta, volume profile, all those things that go along with it are just going to confuse you until the end of time. So having a full understanding of just simply interpreting the fact that this candle with all this volume closed at about 60% roughly of its entire rotation. And then when our next approach came over here, notice that this next push trying to retake this high, which we failed at, on much lower volume. That shows me, without any order flow, without any liquidity, without anything else, that shows me a great amount of weakness. And sure enough, the market took a dump, came back to retest this low, and then sold off. We identified all this in real time. Okay? Failed double top, break the low, come back, retest it, boom, market sells off. All right? I wrapped it up for the day there, in all honesty, guys. I didn't continue trading, had some other things to take care of, so I did not continue to kind of work my way through interpreting order flow through the balance of the day. I was done. I wrapped it up, okay? I took a very productive short here and a very productive long here, and I was done. I was done. There was nothing else left for me to do. If I was just going to sit there and fight the market, there's a better than not chance that I'm going to lose money. Okay? Because I'm either going to feel overconfident or whatever it may be, and maybe start adding size or taking additional risk where it's not necessary. I have a 3-trade rule. Okay? I try not to take 3 trades a day. My goal is to take 3 trades a week. But I will never place more than 3 trades per day. And let me explain to you. If I take the first trade and it is profitable, I will take 1 more trade. If that trade is not profitable, I will then take a 3rd trade. Okay? Knowing that these 2 probably washed each other out, and that the 3rd one is my chance to make my day's pay. If not, I end up in the red for the day. It happens. Okay? If I take 2 consecutive winning trades, I am done for the day. I log out of the brokerage account. Done for the day. I will not take another trade. 2 consecutive wins, I'm done. 2 consecutive losses, I'm also done. Why? Because I feel like I may not have the right read on the market. I feel like I may be misinterpreting something. Maybe I had a bad night's sleep. Maybe I'm distracted. Maybe I'm whatever. Okay? So if I take a win, a loss, I'll take a 3rd trade. If I take a loss and a loss, I'm done. If I take a win and a win, I'm done. Never more than 3 trades per day. And more often than not, guys, If I come into the market, I got a really clear head, I'm not distracted. If I place one trade and that trade goes well, I'm usually done. Okay? I have to have a great amount of conviction to take the second trade. Here, listen, we failed at the VWAP earlier. We violated the VWAP, we had trap buyers. I had a fairly good amount of conviction that we were going to fall back here. Okay? When we held the rolling VWAP as well as we did, and then we put in this really nice finished low with trapped sellers here, and the market came back and kept testing this area and couldn't seem to violate 81.69, 81.70. I felt I had a great amount of conviction that we could push higher. Okay? Where did I take my first profit? Right here. Okay? 81.95. Right, kind of at the low of these wicks here. Hold some profit off. Okay, felt really good. There were more trap sellers here. Took more profit here. And then when I saw this kind of double top, I was done. Right? My goal when I place a trade is to, as quickly and efficiently, liquidate or cover or sell, or however I'm getting out of 50% of my position as quickly and efficiently as possible, move my stop to break even. Then I start spreading out the balance of my position, that if the market does continue, there's a chance that I could get more gains. Here, notice I was only playing back to the rolling VWAP. In this scenario, I covered 75% of my position, and I left the last bit to get covered down here at 81.40. Ultimately, I saw this setup, so I closed the balance of this trade in profit to the downside, and then I entered long to the upside. Guys, we spoke at length, very specifically, live in the analysis room with my traders, that if this proves to be a higher low, there's a good chance that we have a chance of going higher. Okay? I'm not here to deceive anybody. There's a great deal of risk in trading. Period. End of sentence. Non-negotiable. A great deal of risk. However, there is an enormous amount of reward if you're ready, willing, and patient to wait for the opportunity to set up. I told them if we flush this high, we push to this high, we flush this high, we push into the meat of this consolidative state during the overnight. Okay? So just pick the middle. That was what I would consider the meat, about 82.30. Guess where we placed a floor, and then what was support became resistance. 82.32. We talked at length about the double top. And if we break down and we flush this center, we could retest this and then push lower. This area here simply came in to retest this area here. Notice this wick, and honestly I wasn't here trading, but just notice the wick. This wick violated this low that we were so adamant about analyzing earlier in the morning at 8 o'clock. What do you think this did? That's called a liquidity grab. It just sucked up whatever stop orders were sitting underneath this low. That's it. And then the market reversed and ended up pushing higher, grabbing whatever stop orders were then sitting above these highs. Right? We push through the highs, we suck up the stop orders, and we sell off again. So guys, listen, there is no substitute for experience. Experience comes from putting many, many hours in front of the computer, interpreting volume, interpreting price action, and then adding order flow into that to make the best educated decisions about placing risk in the market. Am I perfect? No. Will I ever be perfect? No. No trader ever will be. Okay? All I can tell you is with a great deal of certainty, the greatest knowledge will be gained by the trader that has put the most amount of screen time hours in. I consume the market roughly 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. Okay? At the end of the day, I come back and I review everything. I spend another hour. Okay? So that's roughly 7 hours a week. I am studying the market. That's 35 hours a week. Okay? 7 hours a day, 35 hours a week. 6 hours a day of live screen time. That's 30 hours a week. It's 120 hours a month. Most people don't do that. Okay? Whether they're not able to or whatever, but that's what it takes to have an understanding of what may potentially transpire next. Does it guarantee that? No. Will it ever guarantee it? No. Okay? Taking losses is a huge component of becoming a successful, profitable, consistent, disciplined trader. If you are unable to take losses, you are unable to be a trader. I'm sorry. It's just part of the deal. Listen, I hate it. Nobody hates to lose more than I do. I just do. Okay? I've worked very, very hard for a very long time and endured a lot of hurdles and challenges in my life to be where I am today. It burns me when I take a loss. Okay? For a long time, I had to overcome revenge trading, right? I would take a loss and then I would go on this binge of trying to recover my loss and only to end up losing more. Right? I have tamed that bad habit over many, many years of practice. Okay? It just takes time. Right? So, if you're in the midst of your trading career, doesn't matter how far into it you are, all I can tell you is it takes time. You want a timeline? I would tell you it would take 3 to 5 years to get to a point where you feel confident, consistent, disciplined, and refined. 3 to 5 years, guys. We're not talking about overnight. Okay? Year 7 to 10. Right? You should be very well along. This is the single most lucrative business in the world. If you think you're going to follow some $99 a month Discord and you're going to make $1 million a year, I'm sorry, it's probably not going to happen. The next question I get asked is, why don't I offer a Discord? I don't offer a Discord because it would be wildly delayed in transferring information and answering questions. Okay? The reason I run live rooms for my clients is very simple. They have the opportunity to ask a question in real time, receive an answer in real time, receive analysis, interpretation, and expectations in real time. Not delayed, not screenshots, not vague content that may not be interpreted correctly. Right? I am the only speaker in the room. That's it. Okay? You have a direct line to communicate with me via a chat, and that's it. That's it. Okay? As quick as the questions come in, I can answer them verbally in that second with a full explanation. And that's the reason I provide my analysis service the way I do. It's not gimmicky. It's not sales pitchy. It is what it is. All right? It's $2.99 a month. Is it cheap? No. Do I want the most serious people that are extraordinarily disciplined and really willing to seek out excellence in trading? Yes. Okay? If you want to be entertained, there's tons of $99 a month Discords out there. by all means, I hope they work for you. I truly do. I have no ill feelings towards anybody else in this space, and I'm not saying I'm better than them. What I am saying is I have a lot of time invested. For that $2.99 a month, you are getting my own analysis, my own interpretation, my own screen, my own liquidity, all of that. Right? I'm offering you bigger picture analysis as well. I have some clients that like to swing trade. Okay, I provide that as well. 4 markets: NASDAQ, S&P, crude oil, gold. Those are the markets I look at. Right? A lot of people out there, they're just focused on one market. And that's all fine. I'm totally fine with that. Okay? It's no great secret, right? I've been trading crude oil for 13 years. It's no great secret that I personally gravitate towards crude oil. I do. I won't lie to you. But with the same dedication I have to analyzing, interpreting, and providing expectations for crude oil, I have the same for gold, I have the same for the NASDAQ, and I have the same for the S&P. So if you're seeking real-time analysis, interpretation, and expectations of any or all 4 of those markets live from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and then you have continued access to all my analysis, you have continued access to my reference screen, you have continued access to my liquidity tools from 7 a.m. until the closing bell every single day. I think I bring a lot of value to the $2.99 a month offering. If you want a discount, I offer an annual or unlimited access price. You can see that on my website. That's up to you. But for $2.99 a month, I believe I bring every component I was looking for along my journey to getting to where I am today, 13 years into this commitment of creating excellence in the market. That's it, guys. Right? There's no sales team. There's no upsell, downsell, side sell, pitch. That's it. Right? I have other software products and other programs that I have joint ventures with other companies. If you're interested, great. But if you want me live in the market while it's ticking away, that's the only program I offer that you get that. If that is valuable to you, I can assure you $2.99 a month is a drop in the bucket. If $2.99 a month is too expensive for you to afford, trading is probably maybe not up the alley for you. This is maybe not for you. And that's okay. Listen, that's okay. Build up some savings, keep paper trading, keep picking away. When you're ready, I'll be here. Because I'll be trading, analyzing, interpreting, and providing expectations for those 4 markets until I put my feet in the grave. Why? Because I am passionate about what I do. I am passionate about helping other people. I am passionate about the market. I am passionate about trading. And guys, honestly, after all expenses are paid, my wife and I, we give everything away. We feed the homeless, we provide clothes, we provide food, we provide shelter, we help them help people that are in need get cars. You name it, we run a charity. Okay? It's called the Special Foundation. We run a charity. At the end of the year, everything that the government allows me to give to the charity goes to the charity. And everything that goes to the charity gets given away to folks who are in need. If I can help you be successful and at the same time help other people who are very much in need, it is a win-win for the specials. So I hope this video finds you well. I know it was a little bit lengthy. If you enjoyed it, I ask you to simply like it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so you don't miss the next video. I try to post a video every day at length about my thought process as I approach the market with my own live money and live account. So God bless, guys. Thank you again. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comment. There's a bunch of links below as well. God bless.